We recently read Roca's law firm chapter in the Legal 500 M&A Country Comparative Guide, and in specific your contribution on the M&A regulatory framework in Greece. In light of recent developments, market and legislative, what is your assessment on how COVID has affected the M&A landscape in Greece?
The pandemic has of course affected M&A activity. This was especially observed in the second and third quarter of 2020, where the number of recorded transactions decreased when compared to the corresponding quarters of 2019. The volume of transactions may have fallen, but the average deal value has increased significantly. The total value of M&A transactions in 2020 reached 4.1 billion euros, which was only marginally lower than the total value of transactions recorded in 2019.
Which are the most active M&A sectors?
Major M&A transactions took place in 2020 despite the pandemic, and increased activity was observed in a number of sectors such as telecommunications, food and beverage, energy, and banking and finance. Moreover, a number of privatizations were scheduled to occur within 2020, most of which were postponed due to the pandemic and are scheduled for 2021.
We are aware that the Greek government intends to adopt incentives to stimulate company transformations. Which are the incentives proposed?
The Greek government has initiated a public consultation on a draft law conferring incentives for the propulsion of company transformations. According to the proposed provisions, the entity that will arise from the transformation will be exempted from payment of 30% of the income tax normally imposed on pre-tax profits upon fulfillment of two conditions. First, that the anticipated total average turnover of the new entity will be equal to at least 150% of whichever of the merged companies had the highest average turnover, and second, that the turnover of the new company, that is the sum of the turnover of the transformed companies minus the transactions between them, will be equal to or greater than 450,000 euros. The said discount will in principle concern mergers, demergers, and alterations of the company type of entities employing up to 250 employees and whose annual turnover does not exceed 50 million euros. Nevertheless, the draft bill sets a ceiling on the benefit of tax relief, which shall not in any case exceed 1 million euros over a period of 3 years.
Why does the government propose such a setting?
The short-term goal of the setting at stake is the promulgation of cooperation between small and medium-sized enterprises. Given that currently 95% of Greek companies employ up to 9 persons, the long-term goal is evidently the combating of their inability to survive in competition through the increment of their dimension, along with their productivity growth and the promotion of economies of scale contributing to the Greek economy's growth.
When will this discount come into force?
The public consultation will last up until November 1st, and after its conclusion, the law will have to be passed by the Greek Parliament, a procedure that will probably be implemented before the end of the year. Our estimation is that the enactment of the incentives will foster M&As, while it will also facilitate companies' access to the low-interest loans of the Recovery Fund, as the development of economies of scale is one of the eligibility criteria for them.
And what shall we expect now in 2021?
M&A deals, along with privatizations, are expected to significantly exceed those of 2020, partly as a result of already agreed deals which were delayed. In fact, a number of high-value M&A transactions have already been recorded. For example, the total privatization proceeds for 2021 were estimated at 1.5 billion euros, a figure which we may now exceed with the sale of DEPA Infrastructure, Hedno, and the concession of Egnatia Road. Also, high-value deals have already been concluded in the food and beverage sector, the most prominent being the acquisition of Chipita, as well as in the telecommunications and insurance sector. The market challenges of the post-COVID era will surely affect, and may I say even shake, the M&A landscape. The trends, however, present an increase in deal activity, which we'll believe will be enhanced even further by the legislative incentives which are to be implemented.
Thank you for your input. More information can be found on our website, rocas.com, and on Legal 500, our chapter for M&A.
Thank you.
Thank you.